I had a lot of fun making my first Q&A around this time last year, so I figured it would be fun to do another one. I asked you guys both on YouTube and Instagram to shoot me some questions to answer for this video, so I'll do my best to answer most of them, but I did get a lot of questions, so thank you guys so much for sending me such really good questions to answer. Like I said, I had so much fun doing this last year, so let's jump right into it. The first question I got was, what are some tips to growing your art YouTube? As a small YouTube artist, I always love hearing about people's art growth. Honestly, the best advice I could give is make the kind of content you enjoy. Like, don't focus on algorithms, don't focus on what's popular, just make the kind of content that makes you happy to create, because that way you'll enjoy the process, you won't get burnt out. Over time, people are going to really enjoy the content you make because it's something you're passionate about. So I know it can be hard to focus on, oh, this video doesn't do good, I shouldn't make videos like that and stuff like that, but if you're having fun, keep doing it and it'll pay off in the end. Have you ever thought about doing an art challenge on your channel? Mermaid would be so lovely in your style. First of all, thank you so much. I really like Mermaid, actually. I would love to do Mermaid or any kind of Inktober monthly challenge, but I really just straight up don't have the time or energy to do that. I know it's a huge burden and I really struggle to draw daily to begin with, so as much as I would like to, for now it's very not feasible for me to do something like that, but in the future I really hope to do so because I've always wanted to do any kind of art challenge. Not yet. Any tips for artists trying to grow their art channel? How far along are you on the online store and do you know when you will open? I kind of mentioned tips for growing your channel. Just make the kind of content you like. Posting frequently is also a thing I guess the algorithm favors, but I understand how for some people that's unrealistic. As far as an online store, I'm fairly far along. I need to order shipping supplies, so I need mailers, I need anything with packaging. I started making product. I've made a lot of stickers. I think I need to make some more print designs and then I'll be good. I have no idea when I'm gonna open though. It's probably gonna be a few months, but of course I'll post it on Instagram and YouTube and stuff when I do open my shop and let you guys know. Do you have any artists, YouTubers that inspire you? Yes, absolutely. I have my top 3 go-tos, which are Victoria Gedvias, which I'm probably saying wrong, so I'm so sorry. Arlie Bean and Emily Artful have been my 3 favorite art YouTubers for a really long time. However, recently I've gotten so into studio vlogs, so I've been watching a lot of Apple Cheeks, I've been watching a lot of Thankshu, a ton of studio vlogs. I just love them so much, so that has been something I've really gotten into. But also it's been really cool seeing how other people manage their online store and how people pack things and pretty much everything associated with running your own online business, because that's really helped me and helped me stay organized and inspired me to keep going and push myself to open my shop sooner. So that has been very nice for me. What's your least favorite art supply to use? If we're talking about least favorite medium to use, I would probably say oil pastels. Those are rough for me. What are your favorite art supplies? Definitely alcohol markers and watercolors. What's one brand of art supply you've been really wanting to try lately? I, for the past few months, have really wanted to try Ohuhu products. I really want to try their sketchbook paper. I really want to try their markers. I just spend so much money on art supplies. So recently, I have not been buying a whole lot of art supplies, but I have so much stuff, guys. I really don't want to spend my money. So low-key, I've been waiting for Ohuhu to send me an email and be like, hey, you want to try our stuff? Because Ohuhu, if you're watching this, yes, yes I do. When did you start taking art seriously? When did you think I want to do this for a living? And also just when you decided to start making art or started wanting to improve? I kind of always taken art seriously, which I know is a weird answer, but it's always been my biggest hobby. It's always been something that I've put a lot of time and energy into and has brought me a lot of happiness. I would say middle school is when I guess became more serious about it. I remember in elementary school, art was always my favorite class, and then in middle school, when we were able to take electives and choose which classes we wanted to take, I always chose art and I became really passionate about it. I didn't seriously consider it as a career until after high school, honestly, because I always felt it was such an unrealistic thing. My parents never realistically pushed me to be able to do it as a career. They didn't shoot me down either, but they were extremely passive in that and didn't really care. So I never really had any encouragement behind making art as a profession, and now I do, and it's really nice. What gives you motivation to go sit down and draw, and what are your favorite brands of art supplies? My motivation for art is really cursed because I feel like anytime I am physically able to make art, I don't want to, and anytime I am physically not able to make art, I really want to make art. So sometimes the stars align and I get motivation, but the best thing I can do for myself to make art is to sit down at my art desk, because that in of itself kind of gets me into the mindset of creating. So that's the best thing I can do to push myself to make art. And as for my favorite brands of art supplies, I really like my Copic markers. For watercolors, I haven't tried a huge selection, but I'm in love with my M. Grimm and Daniel Smith watercolors. They're so pretty. And also, I really like Arteza alcohol markers too. It's weird because like specific brands, I like little things here and there, but I have a lot of brand loyalty when it comes to brands. So normally if I like one thing from a brand, I'll be like, okay, I trust them for everything else. Do you feel pressured by your audience, your patrons, the YouTube community, or other reasons to create art in a certain style or a certain type? For example, I have noticed portraits of pretty girls is a popular trend among YouTube artists. Not necessarily for like Patreon or YouTube or anything like that. I've always made stuff that makes me happy, so I draw a lot of pretty girls, but I enjoy drawing pretty girls because girls are beautiful. But really the only time I've felt pressure is recently when I'm intentionally creating art that I know I want to make as stickers or as prints. I feel very pressured in that sense to make stuff that people will like, stuff that looks good, stuff that like fits my standard, especially when it comes to sticker making, because I've been doing a lot of digital art recently in making stickers, and I've been doing like a simple style, and in my head I'm like, oh, this isn't my normal style, it's also digital, people like my traditional stuff more, therefore they won't like this, therefore I shouldn't make this. So it's kind of hard to push myself out of that headspace of like, this is not what people expect of me, therefore I should not offer it, sort of thing. But I know that people like my art, and I can consider my art however it is stylized, however it is like done in a medium to be my art. So I'm trying not to for that reason, but like as a whole, when it comes to posting stuff, I don't feel too much pressure, which is really nice. I'm sure I will in the future as my audience grows bigger, but for the time being, the only thing giving me that kind of pressure is just making products that I know I'm gonna sell. Do you do anything specific to keep improving your art, skill set, or artistic abilities, like weekly figure studies, set daily drawing time, etc.? I try and do figure studies whenever I'm kind of in a slump or I feel like I haven't really been doing like well when it comes to making poses and drawing figures, but honestly I really don't have any kind of rhythm, I don't have any kind of system, I just draw. And over time, I mean, of course when you're making art you're constantly improving, but I really don't focus a lot on leveling up my skills, even though I should, because it would be very beneficial. Most of my like growth as an artist has just come naturally from drawing what I draw. If you could design and create any kind of product with your art on it, what would it be? Like a coffee mug, clothes, building mural, or a comforter, quilt, duvet, etc.? Honestly, not the most exciting thing, but I really want to make either like an art book or an art zine or something like that. That's something that's like pretty realistic, honestly, because that's something I could print myself, or I could get a third-party company to print it, and it's really not that expensive as long as it's not like a published book. But I really want to do that. I really want to make like little zines of my sketchbook work. I think that would be really fun, and that way everyone could have a little piece of my sketchbook, especially since I personally put so much love and care into my sketchbooks, and I really like the way my sketchbooks look, so I think that would be really fun to do in the future. Would you try to do an illustration using pencil crayons? I like colored pencils, but I haven't used them for a full illustration for a really long time. I prefer using mediums that aren't super textured, so that's the reason I kind of stray away from using colored pencils, but every now and then I do pull them out and I use them to kind of accent other mediums. Have you tried or planning to try digital art? Yes, as I mentioned earlier, I do digital art. I don't post it a lot on my YouTube channel just because I feel like people are far more interested in traditional art videos, especially coming from me, than they are digital art videos, but I do have an iPad Pro and I use that to make digital art. What is something that you struggle with the most art-wise? Definitely pushing myself to make things that are on a bigger scale, not necessarily like physically size-wise on a bigger scale, just in the sense of like working out of my sketchbook, creating more finished, organized pieces, stuff like that. Most of the time when I make art, I just wing it and I don't often work out of my sketchbook, so That's something that I struggled with for a very long time, just because sketchbooks are so low pressure, they're so nice to work in. I feel like I don't have to create anything extravagant or planned, and I really want to kind of stray away from that and work more on finished, nicer illustrations to kind of build up a portfolio. And just like, especially when it comes to selling prints and stuff like that, I want to have a better selection of artwork that would format better for that. Which is your favorite medium? Overall, watercolors are my favorite medium. I do go back and forth in phases of preferring other stuff, but I think for the long run, watercolors are my favorite. What are your favorite artists/artists that influence your art? Like the YouTubers I mentioned above, definitely all of those. I also really love Haikala's art. Her artwork is my absolute favorite. It looks nothing like my own, but her artwork really inspires me. What are some tips you have for those who are at the very beginnings of making a shop, and tips for those starting to use gouache? I'm going to answer the gouache one first because that one for me is a simpler answer, and that is just patience. Gouache for me always starts off looking ugly, so don't discourage yourself at the beginning if the painting doesn't look good. Just use patience and put time into it and it'll start to look more finished. And then tips for those at the beginnings of making a shop. I'm in that place too, so I can't give too many helpful tips on what's beneficial in the long run just because I haven't had much experience in it myself, but definitely staying organized and ahead of things. So organize how you store things, organize your files, make sure everything is very easy to get to, very easy to understand, that way you don't get super overwhelmed. Any advice to young artists, and what inspired you to start taking art seriously? Advice to young artists would be just make stuff that makes you happy, draw what you're passionate about, don't worry about what other people will think of your art, try not to be hard on your own art or compare it to other people because that's something I really did when I was younger and it sucked a lot, but just have fun with it. And as far as what inspired me to start taking art seriously, I've kind of always taken it seriously, I guess. Like I said, it's something I've always really enjoyed. It's been my biggest hobby since I was a kid, so it's always been a really big part of my life and it's made me happy, so it's something that I've really enjoyed. Sketchbook tips for staying consistent with it and finishing it, and did you watch Jujutsu Kaisen? No, on the Jujutsu Kaisen, I've never heard of it before actually. And then for sketchbook tips, I recommend finding a sketchbook that's a size and a paper that you really enjoy. That way you're not fighting with it through the whole sketchbook, because when I have a sketchbook that I don't like either the size of it or the paper, it really just pushes me to not work in it and I don't feel super inspired. And I also personally really like decorating the covers of my sketchbooks, whether that be putting stickers on there, painting it, etc. Just so that way when I look at it, I feel inspired and it makes me happy. How long have you been drawing, and did you ever take art school? I've been drawing pretty much my whole life. Like I said, I know that's a stereotypical answer, but I pretty much have, and no, I never went to art school. How do you get enough inspiration to continue finishing your sketchbooks, or just to get over art block in general? So I kind of have art block right now, and I don't know if I'm just bored with the subjects I'm painting, but I really just didn't feel like drawing characters, so that's why I'm painting with acrylics in this video. So my advice would just be to do something different, whether that be a different medium, a different craft, just something where you can be creating something and feel productive in that sense. Just keep away from what you normally do, I guess. That's what I've been doing, and it's been very beneficial to me. I was totally art blocked before I painted these pieces, and afterwards I got a lot of motivation to keep making art. And as far as inspiration goes to finishing my sketchbooks, I honestly get really excited when I'm halfway through finishing a sketchbook. I always like looking and seeing how far along I am in the sketchbook, because the closer I get to the end, I feel like the faster I generally work at finishing the sketchbook. Personally, for me, I've always been the kind of person who start to finishes a sketchbook. I know some people normally get halfway through and they stop and then they just never finish it. But for me, I've never really had issues with finishing sketchbooks just because that's always been my kind of habit. What are some good tips for art organization? I think the best tip I can give is just to have organizers that are cute and make you happy. That way you kind of feel very satisfied when everything is put together and it looks nice, and just decorate your space with things that make you happy, I guess. I'm not the most organized person, so I don't have many tips as far as that goes, but I really like my 3-tier carts that I got from Michael's. Everyone has 3-tier carts right now. I feel like they're really good space-wise and they also look really cute, so I guess that's my tip. Advice how to fill your sketchbook as quickly as possible. Drawing daily really is the best way to do it. Don't worry too much about what you're putting in there. Like, don't stress about making good illustrations. Just keep drawing in there. That's the best way you can fill it fast. How do you balance your personal life, work life, and make time for art? Any tips? I don't follow these tips, but the best thing you could do is to draw every day, because that way it kind of puts you in the rhythm and gives you a habit of drawing every day, and that would really help balance that. I do not draw every day. I probably draw like twice a week on average. I definitely have some weeks where I have a lot more inspiration and I draw probably 4 or 5 times a week, but honestly, I'm really bad at balancing my personal life with work and art and all of that, but just try to make room for it. The best thing you can do for yourself is, like I said, just make a habit out of it. If you draw every day, it'll be a rhythm thing and you'll do it and it'll be great. And I wish I could do that, but I haven't done it and it's big yikes. What are you most looking forward to this year? Definitely opening up my online store. I've talked about it a lot on my channel already, but I really want to open an online store. I'm definitely shooting to open it within the first 6 months of this year, so hopefully within the next couple of months here, that's something that's able to happen. Who or what inspired you to start YouTube, and what type of fashion do you wear or are into? Honestly, YouTube has been something that I have literally done since I was 13 years old. Not on this channel, I had another one, it got deleted, but when I was very, very young, I used to make digital speed paint videos with just music over it. And then when I was 16, I started this channel and I started actually making cosplay videos. So I did cosplay makeup videos and I did convention vlogs and stuff like that on this channel, which you can't find. They're unlisted now, so they're not available for you guys to see, but that's actually how this channel started. And then from there I started slowly integrating art videos and I really enjoyed doing art videos, and now here we are. So it wasn't really difficult for me to start making YouTube videos because ever since I was 11, I have been posting my art online. So I know for some people that's really scary to start, but it was very normal and natural for me. So YouTube was not a huge scary thing for me as it is, I know, for a lot of people starting off. But I've just kind of always done YouTube on and off since I was a literal child. And as far as the fashion I wear, I dress really androgynous. I don't own any skirts. The only dress I have owned or bought in the past decade was my prom dress, and I didn't even want to wear a dress to prom because dresses and skirts make me uncomfortable. I wear skinny jeans, I wear a lot of t-shirts and hoodies, stuff like that. I don't dress fancy. I don't have a huge fancy fashion sense. It's a lot of graphic tees and ripped jeans and stuff like that. Don't really own any clothes that are super feminine. I don't like wearing lacy shirts and stuff like that. I really don't wear any feminine clothing. I think I have one pink shirt and that's because it's a fruits basket shirt. I don't wear a whole lot of light clothes. I dress very androgynous. I don't own any feminine clothing, which I'm okay with because it makes me uncomfortable to wear. I don't know why. I'm very comfortable in my gender. I just I don't like dressing feminine. What 3 things make you the happiest, and can you show us the cutest pictures of your cats, please? Yes, absolutely. Here are a bunch of pictures of my cats. The 3 things that make me happiest are my fiance and my 2 cats. That's super easy for me to answer. They are the best things in my life. They make me so happy and I love them very much. I am very, very grateful to have all 3 of them in my life. What is your favorite anime besides Fruits Basket? What's your fashion style? And do you wear anime merch? My second favorite anime is probably Madoka Magica. I have a lot of sentimental attachment to it, and also it's really good. So that's probably my second favorite. Fashion style and anime merch. Like I said before, I dress really androgynous, and I do wear anime merch. I have some anime tees. Most of my t-shirts are from Hot Topic. So yeah, a lot of them are anime shirts. What are your favorite video games, and have you had any other pets besides Aslan and Fiora? My favorite video games, for nostalgia's sake, is Dark Cloud for the PS2. I love that game for nostalgia's sake. For current playability sake, I love Breath of the Wild. I really like Katamari Damacy. I also really like Minecraft, Stardew Valley, games like that are very fun. Terraria, yeah. As far as pets goes, I've always grown up with animals. Growing up, I had cats, dogs, bunnies, hamsters, guinea pigs. I think that's it. But as far as like my own specific pets, I had betta fish growing up, and then I also had a chinchilla for about 4 years, and he was really cute. His name was Totoro. So those are the only other animals that have been mine that I've had. Favorite dessert food? This one's hard. I have a really big sweet tooth and I like a lot of desserts. Probably like maybe cheesecake or ice cream cake I really like. I also really like fruit tarts though, so I think maybe one of those would be my favorite. What's your favorite food and least favorite food? My favorite food is very easily sushi. I really like sushi. Really any Asian food, but sushi especially is what's like at the top of that for me. My least favorite food is probably hot dogs and sausages. I don't like either of those. I don't know why, but I don't like hot dogs. And last but not least, are there any animes that you've wanted to watch but haven't gotten around to it yet? Yes, I'm really bad about starting new shows. I much so prefer to watch something I've seen before, so it's really hard for me to like sit down and get engaged in a brand new show, but I've really wanted to watch Demon Slayer because characters are beautiful and I've heard so many good things about it, so hopefully that'll be one of the next animes that I watch because I have been really looking forward to it. But that is pretty much it. Those are all the questions I'm going to answer because this video is getting really long, as I knew it would. But if you made it this far, thank you for listening to me rambling. I hope you learned something new about me. I hope this was somewhat entertaining. Thank you guys so much for all of your amazing questions though. I really appreciate it. It's always really fun to do something like this and engage with you guys and talk to you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.